I've gone back and forth about whether to talk about this, but keeping it bottled up has been messing with my head. So I'm putting it here. This happened when I was a sophomore at a college in the Northeast. I won't name the school, and I won't name anyone involved. I'm still trying to protect myself. I was an English major, part of Kappa, and the kind of student who actually cared about grades. Law school was the plan, and everything I did revolved around not screwing that up. That matters, because what happened wasn't just scary. It threatened my future. Last fall, I enrolled in an upper-level course on English Romanticism. Small class. About 25 students. Mostly juniors and seniors who needed the credit. The lectures were led by a professor, but the real backbone of the class was the TA who ran discussion sections. His name was Roar. That's what he went by, at least. I never knew if it was a first name, last name, or some weird nickname he leaned into. He was late 20s, tall, skinny, always looked like he hadn't slept enough. Gave off that I play guitar in a band that never practices vibe. Not creepy at first. Just off. The class itself was painfully quiet most days. People didn't do the reading. Nobody wanted to talk. The room would just sit in awkward silence until Roar cracked and started cold calling people. You could tell he hated that silence. It made him uncomfortable, which somehow made everything worse. There was one guy who kept the class alive, though. His name was Luke. Luke was tall, confident, brown hair, and in one of the top fraternities on campus. He wasn't loud or obnoxious. He just knew when to speak. He'd drop a joke at the right moment, ease the tension, then actually say something smart. He did the reading. You could tell. When he talked, people listened. Because participation counted toward our grade, I ended up being one of the only other people who spoke regularly. So most discussions were basically me, Luke, and maybe a couple others dragging everyone along. Roar seemed to notice. When I talked, he nodded. When I made a point, he expanded on it. Sometimes he'd look right at me while responding, like he was having a one-on-one conversation in front of the whole room. At first, I didn't think much of it. TAs have favorite students. That's not exactly news. My first essay was on ambiguity in Wordsworth's Tintern Abbey. Nothing revolutionary, but I worked hard on it. When I got it back, Roar had written paragraphs in the margins. Not corrections. Engagement. Agreement. He praised my interpretation in a way that felt personal. After that, things shifted. He called on me more. Held eye contact longer. Asked questions that went beyond the syllabus. Sometimes he'd ask how my other classes were going. Or what I planned to do after graduation. Still nothing overt. Just enough to make me notice. Around that same time, Luke and I started running into each other outside of class. Greek life overlap. Mixers. Parties. Date nights. It felt natural. Like we were already orbiting the same social circles and finally acknowledged it. We started talking more. Then texting. Then he asked me to get dinner. We went on a few dates. He was sweet. Attentive. Easy to be around. Nothing intense. Nothing dramatic. Just comfortable. We started sleeping together, and everything felt normal. That's why the first weird thing didn't even register as a red flag. One afternoon after class, I was walking to my car when I saw Luke standing behind the lecture hall with Roar. They were smoking cigarettes together. Talking like they knew each other. It caught me off guard. I didn't even know Luke smoked. When I asked him about it later, he laughed and said he was just sucking up to the TA so finals would be easier. He joked that he'd take being pathetic over a bad grade any day. I rolled my eyes and moved on. I wish I hadn't. A few weeks later, I was at Luke's place. He fell asleep before I did, which wasn't unusual. His phone was lying next to him, YouTube playing some random video. I know I shouldn't have looked. But curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked his phone. I don't know what I expected to find. Definitely not what I did find. There was a folder. Hidden, but not very well. Inside were photos of me. A lot of them. Some were harmless. Me walking to class. Sitting in the library. Standing at parties. Others weren't. Some were photos I remembered sending. Others were ones I had no memory of taking at all. Angles I didn't recognize. Moments I didn't remember posing for. I felt sick. I didn't wake him up. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, trying to convince myself there was some innocent explanation. I told myself I was overreacting. That couple share photos. That maybe I'd forgotten. A week later, I looked again. This time, I went deeper. I guessed his password easily. Birthday, reversed. I checked messages. Deleted folders. Cloud backups. That's when everything collapsed. He had been sending those photos to an unsaved number. Regularly. Consistently. For weeks. Basically our entire relationship. I took screenshots of everything while my hands shook so badly I could barely hold the phone. I woke him up crying and demanded to know who the number belonged to. He panicked. Stumbled through some story about a backup phone. Said he liked having copies of things. Said I was overthinking it. I knew he was lying. I grabbed my stuff and left. The next week was the worst of my life. Police. Statements. Questions I didn't want to answer. Fear I couldn't shake. I won't go into the details. But the truth came out. The number belonged to Roar. My TA. Luke confessed once the pressure hit. He'd been paid hundreds of dollars for photos of me. It started early in the semester. Maybe earlier. I don't even want to know. Luke was expelled. Roar was fired. There may have been jail time. It didn't feel like justice. It's been over a year now. I'm a senior. Almost done. I thought it was behind me. Then a few weeks ago, I started noticing a silver sedan parked outside my sorority late at night. Not every night. Just enough to feel intentional. I've never seen anyone get in or out. I moved into this house after everything happened. I don't know how anyone would know I live here now. I keep telling myself I'm being paranoid. But I've learned the hard way that ignoring your gut is how things get worse. If anything else happens, I'll say something. I just needed to get this out. Stay tuned for next horror story. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe.